The Google Pixel 4a. It's out. It's been released. There are reviews. People have had it for days, weeks, or in the case of my friend Scott, months. Kind of crazy. Reviewed it after having it for 2 months. And of course, the thing has been ready to be released for quite a while now. John Prosser's told us for a long time that these things have been ready. And by the way, I've been talking about how the Pixel 3a and 4a lines of phones should be like their primary phones. They should just get rid of the flagships. And from what we can tell, the upcoming Pixel 5 is going to use a mid-range processor, hopefully to keep the price down on that thing. They never really give the value for the high-end price they used to charge. So why am I not super excited about the Pixel 4a? Usually it's the thing that I keep talking about that Google needs to do to succeed. Well, a lot of things have changed in 2020, and I'm not sure that Google kind of has caught up to it. I mean, some aspects of it, yes, but I think they missed it by this much. And I'll tell you why right after this.
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing them. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below. But for now, let's just get into the video. Yes, it's Pixel season. And what's funny about this is it reminds me of a video I did about a year ago where I said people just don't care about the Pixel 4 line of phones. And y'all weren't very happy about that. For some reason, I got a bunch of thumbs down and a bunch of negative comments. And like a bunch of Pixel people who defend Pixel phones came through. Don't really understand that thought, but I guess they exist. Thought I was hating on the phone. Nope. Just said no one would care. And guess what? No one cared. Ladies and gentlemen, they did not sell very many of them. I was right. As a matter of fact, released a video a couple weeks after that. Thumbs downs went away. Critics went away. They had to agree. Knew what I was talking about. But the Pixel 4a is too little, too late, and too little, believe it or not, too expensive. If you've been watching some of the videos here on my channel recently, I just did a video about some amazing phones at $250, and we're talking about another $100 above that. I'm going to leave a link in the description below for that video as well as the end card. You need to watch that because $250 phones and $200 phones are pretty amazing at this point. And don't get me wrong, this is not a review of the Pixel 4a. Obviously, I don't have it. You have tons of reviews to watch right now. You should have an idea whether or not it's a good phone, and I'm not saying the phone's not good. But I think Google missed a couple things. Number one, let's talk about the price. The price is just a little bit too high. As I just said, the battleground is different. At $250 and $300, there's some savage-like phones out there with some really great specs. And sure, this phone has an AMOLED screen, which is great, and it's gonna get updates for 3 years, which is fantastic. And of course, that pixel camera, I mean, you can't fight on that, can you? You can't beat that down, can you? Well, you kinda can. As I said in that video about $250 smartphones, you can pretty much gank the ability to take pictures like that right out the Pixel and put it on any phone you want to on Android, darn near any phone with Gcam. Talk about that. Again, just go watch that video. You understand what I'm talking about. So that particular advantage, which used to be a heck of an advantage, to me is kind of gone, at least for people that are paying attention. Now, I get it. A lot of people won't pay attention, and they won't even know that you can do that. They're just going to think the Pixel phone's camera's better. But let's be honest, it's not like Google Pixels have a lot of brand loyalty behind them. And if it was a $299 phone, I might actually be a little bit more excited about it. Again, you are getting value for your money. And with the 3 years of updates, I mean, as a person who tells people they need to keep their phone updated, it's actually not a bad deal since most other phones get 2 and sometimes only 1 year of updates. And when it comes to security especially, that's a pretty big reason. Plus, some of the cool features that the Pixel phone have that don't go across any other phones, this time are pretty neat. There's a new feature where it can actually transcribe calls and videos and everything right on your screen, even if you're not connected. It's pretty darn cool, and there are other things like that call screening option that's been on Pixel phones for a couple years now. Google does these really amazingly cool things in software for only their Pixel phones, which is kind of a shame because if you buy any other phone, you don't really get access to that. But again, I would point out that a lot of those things, I believe, especially for people that are gonna buy a Pixel 3a, are not exactly things they're gonna use very often. Will they get used at all? Sure, I'm sure they will, especially if they're turned on by default. But if they're not turned on by default, I want you to think of how many people who would pay a $350 phone are gonna dig deep into the settings. And that is why I think they missed the boat. At $299, you can do a lot of things. You can get away with not putting in as many things. And some of that software R&D can go to Android phones in general. Listen, there are some great things that Pixel phones can do that people, if they have to dig in settings, will never know that they exist. The fact that it's a $350 phone, brings a certain type of person into the store, or in this case, online, to purchase it. Price-minded people. Those very price-minded and value-oriented people are not really looking for the latest and greatest. If they were, they'd be buying a Samsung or an iPhone. So these features are great, and I'm not saying you should not add features to a budget phone. You absolutely should. But it's the wrong customer. This phone is great for the wrong person. If they could put some of these features into a truly flagship phone, it would make more sense. Just make the battery last all day and a half, make the camera pretty good, which it already is, and give it some pretty cool apps with some general support. You're done. You're done. That's all you have to do for $350 or even $300. Like, that's all you have to do. So for me, any R&D spent above and beyond that is kind of wasted. I feel like Google doesn't really understand their user. They've done a good job over the last couple of years making the Pixel line of phones known for its photography, which is great. Everyone who's in the tech sphere knows the photography on Pixel phones is the best. But I dare you to go down the street, find a random person and ask them what phone takes the best pictures. If they even know what a Pixel phone is. I doubt they're gonna say that. They're gonna say either an iPhone or a Samsung phone, or some of them might even say LG just because they don't know anything. Because really, once you upload a picture to social media, it's compressed and it's not the greatest quality anyway. So while I'm not advocating against some of the incredible visual stuff that Google is able to do, I just think they need to spread across all of Android. And stop letting XDA doing it for you, because that's what's happening. All these inexpensive phones are getting amazing cameras through Gcam. Listen, I love what Google's doing. I'm not trying to hate on them. This is a good phone for a decent price. I just think they kind of missed the boat on this. They should go even lower. The mid-range is a savagery right now. There are so many amazing phones between $300 and $500 and $500 to $600 that Google can no longer compete there. They used to be able to back in the Pixel 3a days when there wasn't as much competition. But I did a video not too long ago with $500 phones and below, and you can just see the savagery there. It's crazy. And Google can't compete there. They just can't. They don't understand the customer. They understand the technology and how to get really great things to people, things that work well, but the people that are buying these phones just don't use those features. Now listen, the last time I talked about this, people were hating on me. They thought that I was hating on Google. I'm not. I think they bring some of the best, coolest technology that I wish they would spread across all of Android and take on Apple in that way. The Pixel will never outsell any iPhone, so don't try it. Just give some of that great technology to some of the leaders in the industry, like Samsung. Imagining a Samsung and Google smartphone with all the extra cool features, and I think they could give everyone else a run for their money. But what do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Did Google hit the mark with this? I mean, sure, it's reviewing very well. Everyone will find problems in the weeks after the reviews go live because a lot of these reviews have only had the phone for a short amount of time. But let's just be honest, it's a good phone. And for $350, I don't think anyone who buys it is going to feel like they got ripped off. It is a great value phone. But sometimes that's not enough. And mark my words, people won't buy it. Not in any kind of significant numbers. Google has to know that by now. I mean, and you know that now because you watched this video. And you will learn more if you watch that video. And then this one, because that one's cool too. Anyway, see you next time. Peace and love.